Hey, what's up guys? Kenneth here with the LEGO Republic, bringing you yet another LEGO Star Wars review. Today we will be reviewing the legendary 75292 Razorcrest. This set has 123 pieces and released in September 1st, 2020 for $130. So we will be taking a look at this. Obviously, this is the Razorcrest from The Mandalorian. Here's the box. It's not quite as thick as you would have expected. Just for reference here, I'm going to grab the legendary 501st Battle Pack just to put it up there for size. As you know, the 501st Battle Pack is very skinny, but you can see that the Razorcrest is not that much bigger than it, although it is quite a lot bigger on the length side, but not the width side. So that is the box, and if we turn it on over to the back, on the sides you'll see some random cool things, but on the back it shows off all the features of the set, including the fact that everything folds down like so, and some of the other extra features, including the escape pod, bed, spring-loaded shooters, and other stuff, but I'll show them to you all. Here is the instruction manual, and it is quite a large instruction manual. In the back you'll see it as all the pieces and, you know, pictures advertising the other 2020 LEGO sets, as well as the 2021 LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Anyway, this thing is a beast. 407 steps in the Razorcrest. Crazy. This is quite a thick instruction manual. Just for reference, I'll throw in the 2016 clone turbo tank. You can see it's a bit smaller. The instruction manual is a bit smaller than the clone turbo tank's instruction manual, but it is quite a lot thicker. So that's that. And here is the Razorcrest in all of its glory. I actually have a new camera set up for today. Hopefully we'll be using for a long while yet. So I actually really do enjoy this new camera. I cannot wait to use it. It actually allows me to not have to hold the camera while I am doing the review, so that makes it very nice. So I can actually point out a bit more stuff. So very fitting that this would I would get my new camera on the same time I would get the Razorcrest, because the Razorcrest really deserves everything, all the good things that we can give to it. So starting off with the minifigures. I am not, however, going to change my minifigure layout, because I do think that this layout for the minifigures is actually a pretty decent layout. So we're going to start here with the Mandalorian as the first figure, and he looks pretty nice, albeit he does not have his Beskar armor, and this Razorcrest does seem to be hinted as though it is themed to the last episode of the season, or the second to last episode of the season, with the inclusion of the Scout Trooper. Of course, we'll get into him later, but you would assume that since it seems to have that theme of the last or second to last episode, that the Mandalorian would have his Beskar armor. However, this is not the case. He is the reused Mando figure from the ATST Raider, which is really unfortunate, actually. I guess we can give LEGO a little bit of leeway, just because it's kind of a new show. But really, LEGO, you should have put some Beskar armor on the Mandalorian. He looks really old and run down here, so not very cool. But he does look pretty nice. The helmet does actually seem a bit dull, and underneath you will just see a black face, which kind of makes sense, even though I guess we've seen Mando at this point, his face, but I mean, the black actually works really nicely, especially around the back, because then you don't see tan underneath the helmet there. Because the Mandalorian helmets, the way they're molded, you are able to see just a little bit of the skin color there. So if it does have a black face, then there will be none of that. It does have a cape here on the Mando figure. You can pull the cape up. It's one of the newer, skinnier capes, which is nice. On the back, you'll see some printing that you won't see if you put the cape back down. And then on the front side, forgot to mention the printing, which is, you know, decent printing, although it is a reuse from the old Mando figure. You will see that gun is very accurate to the long rifle that he uses to disintegrate people in the show. Very nice. Yep, I really like the rifle. It looks pretty good. However, there's no pistol, because Mando does have a pistol, but there's no pistol for Mando. Need I say more? I'm just gonna give this like 5 seconds just to take in the beauty of this figure. Oh, it's so beautiful. Okay, so now that we've taken our time to just look and appreciate the minifigure, let's get into it. So, there's not much going on here. It's a baby torso, right? A Lego baby torso. You can actually pop the head off, which is brutal, and I can't believe I just did that to Baby Yoda, but you can, in fact, take the head off, and what happens here is you'll see the baby torso, and it is just a regular Lego baby torso, and it has green hands, and so it's just a regular tan baby torso, and I'm really kind of glad that Lego did that, because it makes Yoda really look like Baby Yoda, but just kind of with, it makes Baby Yoda look like a baby, just with the whole Lego baby flare thing, and it's really cool that they did that. Just a little bit of print on like the folds of whatever he's wearing in the show, so that's pretty nice to see. No printing around the back, that's just not something that they do. But you can see that the head mold is very nice there, and you can actually, it's kind of rubbery like the actual Yoda's. You can actually make him look sad if you want, which is so cute. So, I mean, that's the Baby Yoda. Need I say more, right? Grief Karga here, looking really awesome. I'm very happy that they put this minifigure in the Razorcrest. He does belong in this Razorcrest, because we did get Cara Dune already, but we needed Grief Karga. He's a pretty cool dude in the show, and really nice to have him. He's got his dual pistols, as you can see, and then he has nice printing. You can see that he does have the printing of like whatever he's wearing on the inside, but then he does have this cloak, which is kind of printed on. He has it over one shoulder, so it's kind of cool that they put that on the minifigure. And then if you turn him around, you can see that the cloak goes all the way across, which is a really nice detail. If you take his hairpiece off, which is a very cool hairpiece, I might add, you'll see his alternate expression, which looks pretty funny there, not gonna lie. So, Grief Karga, great minifigure. I'm so glad that they put him in the set. He looks and acts very good. And while those three minifigures were very good, these next two are not exactly the best. The first here, we have the nurse droid. Just kidding, it's the IG unit, the one that Mando kills in the very first episode, but then it is reprogrammed by Quill and saves the child in the 8th episode and final episode of the season. So, you know, it's just another Assassin's battle droid, right? They've been in a whole bunch of sets, so not very impressive. I know it's the IG unit from the Mandalorian TV show, and it's different from others before it, but still, at the end of the day, it's another IG unit. I'll add it to the collection. It isn't very special to me, at least in my opinion. They should have thrown a Quill in here instead of the IG unit, but I mean, I guess they decided that they wanted to skimp out, and honestly, Lego, they can skimp out on the rest of these minifigures, because as long as they put that Baby Yoda minifigure, everyone's buying it anyway. So Lego was smart enough to realize that, and realize that they didn't have to do everything perfectly as far as this set goes, which sounds bad, but it's not, because I'm going to show you that Lego did do a really good job with the build. But yeah, the IG unit, the only thing very interesting is that face print on that cylinder there. And then I guess you get an extra gun if you wanted to have an extra gun. So that's really all that's interesting about the droid. And the last minifigure here, we have the Scout Trooper. He looks really nice. This is the newer style Scout Trooper with a dual molded helmet, which looks really nice. So you can see it's dual molded the black into the white, which is super cool because he can actually have the tan face underneath. But then once you put that on, it looks so good. This is different from what Lego was doing before with the Scout Trooper, where they had the black head like they had on Mando, and then they had the white visor, so it looked like he had the black visor, but it was just the illusion, right? Well, here they've actually dual molded it, and it looks really good. So they dual molded the Scout Troopers and the Stormtroopers. The Stormtroopers dual mold looks terrible, but the Scout Troopers dual mold looks really good. I'm so surprised by how good it looks. So what a clean figure here. I'm not an original trilogy fan, but I wish I could get another one of these to have those two Scout Troopers. They look so good. A bit unfortunate that the set didn't come with a speeder bike for him, but I mean, I guess, like I said earlier, Lego just decided that they can skimp out, and honestly, it doesn't really matter too much, but it would have been nice to have the speeder bike to go with the Scout Trooper. I mean, come on, Lego. So now let's talk about the build. This is quite an interesting build, and it's very large because you're getting quite a large number of pieces with the set. So not only does it have quite a lot of pieces to begin with, but it does have quite a lot of large pieces. So let's get into this. I'll show you all the features first, and I'll talk about what I think is cool about it. So first off, what we got here is the cockpit area. So you can just take this cockpit and just pop it out. It's on these two very interesting the hinge pieces that make it hinge right here, and then just two of these pieces, and somehow that connects it. Not a usual connection, but it works surprisingly well. Just good enough so that it won't fall off if you tip it over, but bad enough so that you can actually pull the connection out. So really nice design there with the cockpit. And once you've done that, you can actually drop this forward, and if you can see inside there is a little place where you can actually put the Mandalorian's weapon, which is very nice, and then you can put whatever other person's weapon you want in there too, and just kind of close that back up. You can drop Mando into the seat here, and to the classic pose that is on the box art, where you put Baby Yoda in his hands, and he sits in the seat, and Baby Yoda plays with the little ball thing that is so cute, and then you can close it back up, and then you can look at the both of them and feel like it's the cutest thing ever. You could also fit someone in there if you did want to. Oh, I guess the entire chair came out, but not a huge deal. You could fit someone else in there too. A little bit of a tight fit, but nothing that a Lego figure can't handle. So if we go to the side here, I'm going to tip it. You can see that it does have skis, so it has 3 skis, which are kind of nice. It means it can slide when it lands if a person wanted to do that. You can see these very well put together guns here on the sides. They're not flimsy, they're not going to fall off, which is something that a few Lego things have the tendency to fall apart, but not these. These guns are not going to snap or anything. They're really well built. So if we actually drop this down, you'll see a place to put spring-loaded shooters, which are reloads for the spring-loaded shooter ammo, and they are right there and right there, if you can see them. And what you do, how you fire them, is with this little lever right here. So it kind of pops up. You can see the spring-load shooter in there, but what happens is you just push down on it, and boom, it fires. So we'll fire the other one, and that's how that works, right? Really nice. And then you can pop those up again by reloading it here. So if we take our spring-loaded shooters and we push them back in, you can see it'll reload the thing, and that way it will, not completely. I lost my train of thought. Anyway, that is a place for you to keep spring-loaded shooters, and there's not much room over there because on the other side there is the Mandalorian's bed. So if we drop that down, and we're actually going to put Grief Karga in the bed just because we can, but I mean some decent stickers in there, and just enough room for you to put the Mandalorian or whoever minifigure you want. I put Grief Karga in there just to show you, and then it kind of goes up. But that takes up most of the space here, about 2/3 of it. So that's why the other side has just a small ammo storage place. But since we're on this side, let's talk a bit more. We have this door, which the Mandalorian uses in the movie, and then of course there's the door in the back that the Mandalorian uses in the movie as well. But then that's not good enough for a playset, and because it is a playset, thank goodness Lego allowed this to come down as well, and these pieces are very crisp, so they're coming off slightly easier, but you can open it up like that and put whatever minifigure you want in there. It looks really good, and so we're just gonna drop the Scout Trooper in here just for right now, because I want to put them in another spot later. But you can see they fit very easily in there. And actually right here, there's a place to slide out, and there's 2 Carbonite figures, which is very cool. So this one looks like a weird Gilderoy Lockhart or something, which is kind of cool. I don't know who it's supposed to be, but then this guy clearly supposed to be the guy from the first episode that he carbon freezes. So they just kind of slide right in there, and they're surprisingly tight. They don't fall out too easily. But that's that. If we go to the other side, you'll see that the exact same thing happens with the whole drop down thing. So I told you that they don't fall out, and then of course they fall out very easily. So of course that's just for the review, but I promise you that this doesn't happen too often. So you can see when it's down like this on the box art, it's pretty open, right? You can put a lot of different stuff in there. In fact, you could have put a speeder bike in there for the Scout Trooper had they actually included a speeder bike. That would have been cool. But there's a bunch of space in here. They didn't do anything with the space besides the carbon people, so you could, you know, mod it however you want. However, it's kind of hard for me to get my fingers in there, so you know, I can see why they left it empty. It's just a place to put a bunch of people. I kind of compare this to the Republic gunship just because there's so much space for you to put people on the inside. So, you know, that is that. We're going to close all this stuff up, which, you know, takes a decent while because there's a lot of different panels and things that we're closing up. And then we're going to drop our carbonite minifigures back in there, which are, you know, decently scaled for minifigures, right? And then drop that back in. So, you know, pretty decent as far as the Razorcrest goes. But we're not done yet because there's an escape pod on the Razorcrest, and I have a bunch of different theories about why this escape pod exists, and we're gonna get into those. But if you can see on the top there, it's just like that, and then you kind of just grab it right here and pull it off, and it pulls off like that. You can see into the inside of the ship, which is a bit unfortunate, but it does just connect to that little red piece right there. And the escape pod looks like this. Very easy access to the escape pod. Basically what you do is you just push up on these two black things and on the black girl pieces, and they pop off, and then this entire front pops off. And there actually isn't glass here, but it looks like there is, which is kind of funny, and it actually looks really cool when you have it on there. So yeah, you just pop it off. We're gonna put the Scout Trooper in there because he looks hilarious. Now you can fit them with their guns, but you have to put the guns in a different spot than on their hand because it doesn't work. But right, they kind of just fit in there. Really nice design. Drop this back on the top, and is that not the cutest thing? Like, not cute, but it looks really funny, at least to me. At least just seeing the Scout Trooper's helmet in the window is just pretty funny to me. So we're gonna keep them here, and it kind of just slides in super easily. But the last thing I want to talk about the set is his really good swooshability. Obviously it has these giant engines on the front here, but what you can do is you can just grab this tail part, which is probably 10% of the weight, but it holds the entire ship. I mean, you can just swing it around with the back. So it's got quite a lot of swooshability with just the back there. You can do a lot of different battles with that. And then also you could grab it, you know, basically anywhere. You could grab it from the bottom like this and swing it around if you wanted. You could grab it from this top part in the front right here and swoosh it around. Okay, maybe not. But the one thing you don't want to grab is the engines. If you grab the engines, it'll break for sure. The engines aren't on there too well. They're on there enough so that they won't fall off, of course. They're on there way more than that, about 3 times extra. But if you try to grab it by the engines, they'll just break. So I would not recommend doing that. But pretty cool that, you know, 10% of the weight can hold, you know, 100% of the weight. So that's pretty nice. Let's talk about the escape pod, because I actually have a few ideas about why the escape pod exists. So Lego designers do actually have the ability to look at you know, shows and things before they actually get released, which makes sense. It would explain why they, you know, get all sorts of extra leaked things, like the 501st Battle Pack they put in the Jet Trooper from Season 7. They were able to look at the finished product before we were able to, just because they're Lego and that's what they're allowed to do. So chances are that when they were making the Razorcrest, they got to see the finished episodes of Season 2 of The Mandalorian, because there would have been some done when they started, and they would have been able to see whatever it was when they were making the Razorcrest. So, chances are, now don't quote me on this, but I think that the fact that there is an escape pod right here, and in this spot, obviously LEGO could have made all sorts they could have taken all sorts of liberties and just made that escape pod there for play, but something tells me that there is actually an escape pod on the Razorcrest that we just haven't seen yet, and we're going to see it in Season 2. If you haven't seen the trailer for Season 2, it's quite amazing, and then Mando is attacked by New Republic X-Wings, so yeah, I would say that when he's attacked, he takes the escape pod with Baby Yoda and leaves. So that's just what I would assume would happen. So chances are that the LEGO designers did see The Mandalorian Season 2 and that there was an escape pod. So the fact that there is an escape pod on the Razorcrest means that there's an escape pod on the actual Razorcrest in Season 2. So that's at least what I wanted to say about that. Last part before we go, let's talk value. So the Razorcrest has only 1,023 pieces, so it should be $100 by the price per piece index. However, the Razorcrest was released for $130, which is quite an insane amount of money. Is it worth it for the inflated price per piece count? In my opinion, I would say yes. You're getting quite a lot of large pieces in the set, especially for the doors, and this thing is a monster. Like, I would maybe potentially go as far to call it a mini UCS set, just because it's so, large and displayable. So, I don't know, but this Razorcrest, it seems like it's worth $130. Like, it's a giant, okay? It's very large. And it makes a great display piece, it makes a great play piece. I don't really know how you could go wrong with it, except potentially not a Quill minifigure or some other better minifigures in the set, but quite a good LEGO set, not gonna lie. I'm super happy. Wish they would have done, Beskar Mando and, some other better minifigures like Quill, but you never know, we might get Quill in like a Quill's Hut sort of a set or something, but that set better come with blurgs. Honestly, I need some blurgs in my collection. But anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button for me. It'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you in advance for doing that. So that's all I have for you for now. I hope you did enjoy. This is Kenneth from the LEGO Republic. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.